Picture a completely normal street in Chattogram. Just the hum of daily life unfolding exactly like it always does. People are running errands, families are going about their day. But then, in literally a fraction of a second, that mundane reality is completely shattered by the deafening, chaotic crack of gunfire. Today, we're reconstructing the chilling timeline of a senseless tragedy. We are going to examine exactly how a calculated, ruthless local turf war spilled out onto the streets and how a targeted hit left an entirely innocent bystander fighting for her life.
Just listen to this for a second. Faisal Ahmed, the victim's brother, described the exact moment his family's entire world collapsed. He said, "She was just walking without sensing any danger." There is just this shattering gravity to street violence. One moment, it's peace. And the next, an everyday alleyway suddenly becomes a war zone, leaving a family to face the irreversible, devastating consequences of a conflict that had absolutely nothing to do with them.
Okay, let's dive into this. The victim here is Rashmi Akhtar. She is just 11 years old, a Class 4 student. On May 7th, right in front of the Bihari colony, Arufabad, she was simply on a quick errand to buy betel leaf for her mother, but waiting in the shadows of that very same alleyway. 5 to 6 masked gunmen. And when they opened fire on their intended target, it was Rashmi who was struck by a stray bullet. A perfectly normal afternoon, just erased in an instant.
Anatomy of a turf war. So, how do we even get here? To understand how those masked men ended up in that alleyway, we have to really look at the anatomy of this conflict. Because this wasn't random, right? It was a deadly cycle of vengeance. It all traces back to April 26th, when a man named Nasir Uddin was shot dead in Rauzan. Fast forward to May 7th. The gunman's actual intended target was 24-year-old Hassan Raju. Why? Because he was the 7th accused in Nasir Uddin's murder case just days earlier. According to the Chattogram Metropolitan Police, the suspects straight up confessed that Raju was killed purely in revenge. This was a calculated, absolutely ruthless retaliation hit.
The midnight manhunt. All right, so the gunfire stops, the target is dead, an 11-year-old is bleeding on the pavement, and immediately, a high-stakes, multi-district police response is triggered. Between Monday afternoon and early Tuesday morning, law enforcement executed this sweeping dragnet. And they didn't just lock down the immediate block, they expanded way outwards. Coordinated sweeps hit Double Mooring, the crime scene vicinity, in Rufabad and Changaon. But the major break? That happened miles and miles away at Sugandha Beach in Cox's Bazar. That is exactly where they cornered and arrested the prime suspect. Honestly, the sheer speed of this manhunt over such a massive geographical area really underscores the urgency of this investigation. So the police arrest 6 suspects in total, completely dismantling the hit squad. Right at the center is the 27-year-old prime accused, Syedul Karim. But equally critical to this whole operation was 37-year-old MD Abdul Manan. He was the driver of the getaway CNG auto rickshaw. And seeing this lineup, it really reveals the highly organized anatomy of a revenge killing. You've got shooters, you've got a designated escape vehicle, a whole crew of accomplices ranging in age from 21 to 48. They planned a murder with almost military precision, yet they completely, entirely disregarded the collateral damage they left behind in the dirt.
An impossible medical dilemma. Now, while the police were successfully dismantling that hit squad, inside the walls of Chittagong Medical College Hospital, the atmosphere is just intensely tense. Rashmi has suffered multi-organ failure. She is surviving on life support in the ICU. And the specialized medical board treating her, they are trapped in a horrifying catch-22. They basically face 2 unimaginable options here. Leave the bullet permanently lodged in the back of her brain, or attempt a surgical extraction that carries a massive, massive risk of fatal hemorrhaging. It's a literal nightmare scenario. There is no safe path forward. Professor K.M. Baki Billa, the head of anesthesiology, laid out the grim reality of it. He explained that because the bullet passed through critical parts of the brain, any intervention could very well be her last. CMCH Director Brigadier General Tasleem Adin confirmed that her condition is being monitored round the clock. But right now, medical science is basically forced to stand completely still, just holding its breath.
A life in the balance. The shooters are in custody. The revenge cycle has effectively been solved by law enforcement. But justice in a courtroom does not heal the wounds inflicted on the innocent. 11. She is just 11 years old. While these gang members sit behind bars, a vibrant young girl's life remains indefinitely paused on a ventilator. Her entire future totally dictated by a stray bullet she never even saw coming. We can map out the arrests, we can track the timeline of vengeance, we can meticulously dissect the anatomy of the turf war. But when local power struggles escalate into all-out street warfare, what is the true cost of an innocent life caught in the crossfire? It's a haunting question, and it's one that echoes far, far beyond the quiet alleys of Chattogram.